Okay, so greetings. So, the cult leaders and narcissists, they are actually relentless, relentless. They don't stop. It's an insatiable um, energy that they have to, meet their agenda. So basically, this guy, this so-called self-proclaimed greetings, this self-proclaimed high priest, Kwatamani, aka, but his name is Joseph Robinson. Right, his legal name is Joseph Robinson, self-proclaimed Earth Solar Messiah, self-proclaimed soul seer, self-proclaimed spiritual healer, self-proclaimed spiritual leader, is basically looking to get some record sales. So with all the stuff, and this has been consistent, all the things that are coming forth worldwide and also within the Black community, all that is coming forth, greetings, all that's coming forth about cults, con artists, scams, is coming forth so that the everyday person can see it blatantly in the face. So we're seeing it in politics, we're seeing it with movie producers. We're learning with the stuff that's come out recently about R. Kelly. We're learning that folks like Elvis Presley and Jerry Lee Lewis. This stuff is not new. However, it has been taboo. People with enough money can usually cover it up, but it is definitely being like this in our faces as a community, and it is an opportunity for us to be accountable and to no longer turn a blind eye and to address it, because it's not going anywhere. And for us, male and female as adults, to overlook it is how it continues. So this old OG cult leader, Joseph Robinson, is basically looking for like, if you observe, right, part of news with the R. Kelly thing is that his record sales have actually spiked. With all this controversy, with folks knowing that he has peed and urinated on young folks. And I'm going to speak about that, what the allure is, from my simple observation. We have to stop. It should stop folks in their tracks. Who are all these people that are purchasing his albums? I used to enjoy R. Kelly's music back in the day. But the moment I heard that he urinated on a young woman, I didn't see the video. My best friend, she saw the video. And it used to be bootleg, on the streets in the city in New York. But once I heard that, as someone that's familiar and know many, many women that have been on the receiving end of abuse, there is no way that I just felt grossed out with music. And I watched all those CDs back in the day that I spent money on. I threw them in the garbage. And even when I would mention that to other folks, people didn't take a position. Women didn't take a position. And if I think he might have belonged to a mega church, I often wondered, did his pastor put him in check? Did somebody check him? Were there any consequences? Obviously, there were no consequences because he had enough money, and unlike the average street level predator pimp, he has the money to cover his behind. So usually people have a team of people or followers or minions or people you're paying off. R. Kelly had enough money to pay people off. But you have to wonder, who are the people that are making a conscious decision to purchase his music at this point? It's saying a lot about a consciousness and programming. It's like we can't get off the soul train line and put the chicken and the beer and stuff down to come to consciousness. We're so addicted to having a party and stepping in the name of love while the children are being molested in the back and other hardworking folks are being conned out of their money. So it's no secret that controversy and even negativity, has become like an appetite to see all kinds of craziness, whether it's people or things being killed. It's like being lured and addicted to watching things that we fear or that are like to catastrophes. Like, well, been programmed to constantly stay in fear mode, which is not really doing anything. What would perhaps serve us better is to do something. There are numerous people that said, "Aren't you worried? Aren't you scared?" Aren't folks worried if you don't do something? Are folks under the illusion, as I've heard this cult leader say, you're hoping like, it's going to happen to them over there. Don't see me, don't see me. Hopefully it doesn't happen to me over here. But if we are seeing the results of not addressing these things. So Joseph Robinson, basically in a nutshell, is looking for some sales. So as whack as his music is and out of tune and dry and repetitive as his music is, people are going to buy program just out of curiosity. And if you get 1,000 people, $1,000 can go a long way here in Belize. And he knows how to stretch your money. So if you get 1,000 or 2,000, which he's hoping for, so this man has the audacity to mention this other cult's name, right? This other cult leader's name, and knowing that a lot of this other younger cult leaders' members have fallen off. He's trying to catch the crumbs. He doesn't care. He needs money. All of them actually need money to fulfill their agenda. But he mentions one of their names in his video so he can ride, so that people in all their curiosity, they go from one channel to the next channel. So they can go run all over to this other, or the people that have fallen off from this other cult leader will run over to his channel out of curiosity, click and buy his album. It's simple, but this is the simple level that we're operating from in terms of our emotions out of curiosity, and we're just spending our money just to see. It's not like the music is good. It's not saying anything different. It's pretty whack, but it doesn't matter, because if you can get your money, you can get your money. And this is how we're spending quite often. We're reacting and not thinking. So it's really whack, and it's dry, but definitely in simple observation, these different cult leaders and camps are constantly competing for your attention, for your dollars, for followers, for your children. They're all in competition with each other, just like different political parties. They're all in competition for your allegiance and your attention, for you to give them your allegiance without going through a vetting process. Because it's like a mob mentality. It's a sheep mentality, popular mentality. It's the drama. Have you seen? It's like watching Housewives or whatever. So he stays laid back in the cut just long enough, but he has no problem extracting followers that are by the wayside, or followers from these other cult camps and conscious community camps and new age camps that have fallen off. If he can extract even a few of them, if you give your money, your inheritance, your college fund, you may do it in a different form, but if he gets the money, he can still achieve his agenda. That's why his camp isn't as big. So he'd rather just get your money and to get your likes or your following or whatever. So I just really think it's not even funny. It's just so tired, and it's so whack. If you just watch, he has so much rhetoric. He's trying to justify why he calls himself the Earth, Soul, and Messiah. It's no different than everybody putting all these other terms of they are the Messiah. There's no Messiah. If you want a Messiah, look in the mirror. And then another distinction is basically, instead of submitting to this cult leader, he wants you to submit to him, right? So he'll have you thinking it's the principles of divine, social, economic, family, community. I mean, it's just rhetoric. People get caught up in the rhetoric. And if it sounds good enough and someone says it with enough conviction, people follow it. So the word divine and social and economic and community, people are spending money and putting it over to them instead of starting their own little garden, even if it's inside of a windowsill. So keep your money to yourself, because you're supporting these folks who are living on, think if it's their anniversary coming up in Belize, and it's about 99 acres that they're on. If they've had 99 acres for almost going on 15 years, and it's a tropical environment with almost 100 acres, how much acreage are you sitting on? You know what I'm saying? And They should be able to feed and sustain themselves with all that tropical food. So what do they need? Your Babylon bucks. And, everybody from Babylon is constantly ridiculed. But as I have seen, he has no problem, Joseph Robinson has no problem talking about you like trash and taking your Babylon bucks. And he's not going to get any contest from anybody. You won't be able to cross reference him. And he'll just go back late in the cut. So, yeah, it's casting spells, and I'm just grateful that I'm not in there, because once you're inside of a cult, they cast spells and try to play on your conscience and get you to second guess yourself. There's so much this man is not saying about his dealings while he's talking about whatever Flynn family, buy his masterpiece album, not telling you of his dealings with younger women. And his reneged contracts on land. What they do, part of their technique is to deflect you, from the real issues at hand. But by the meantime, on the way out, do take your $10 and buy my album, because I could use your money to feed all these new babies, the 3 new babies that are coming, because they need to keep the income coming in from Babylon to their 100, almost 99 acres of tropical rainforest land they've been living on for all of these years. So do be aware, do be careful, and do know, again, a cult is a cult. They have massive, and I'm saying it because I was in there, extreme amounts of control, a lot of questions you won't be able to ask, and everything will constantly be trigger words and rhetoric. Constant rhetoric. Use your common sense. You don't know these people online. And yes, Jim Jones did use basketball to lure young people in there. So, it's just really, it's tired, but it can be tired and dramatic, but it works, because people they'll give them money. What do you think is the allure? Is desire to be part of a group? Oh, of course, there's the allure to want to be a part of something. I even heard a young woman today who used to follow the other younger cult leader and say that, young people want to be a part of something, and something meaningful. There's nothing wrong with wanting to be a part of something meaningful, but it just, you can't bank. You could not have banked on the absolute control and the hazing process that you're going to experience, because young people don't have a frame of reference. So having desires for community and growing food, I've said it over and over again, there's nothing wrong with that, but people cannot bank, have no idea of what they're going to encounter in terms of a hazing process, mind manipulation, isolation, what you'll have to do to come in there, what the rules are when you ask questions. There'll be a lot of vague answers. And when you're isolated, it's like a crazy making and gaslighting process. People, they haven't banked on it. They don't have a frame of reference for that. And it can happen to anyone with a conscience and with some sincere intentions. It is very possible. It's happening today on so many different levels. So, folks, keep your money in your pocket. Start your own gardens, your hydroponic garden, windowsill garden. Instead of giving these folks with 100 acres of land who just popped out 3 babies, let them take their 99 acres of land and farm their land in their tropical community and pay for their own stuff. Instead of you giving money for their whack records that are redundant, that are over and over and over. He's not saying, anything new. And he's not telling you about his movements with young women. He's not telling you about a lot of stuff. He's scamming. And that's just it. That plain and simple. He's scamming. I'm not going to make it any more complicated than that. So do be watchful, folks. Keep your money, in your pocket. Spend it on you, and tap into nature wherever you're at, Please be watchful, not allow these folks to scam you or your young people. Cross-reference everybody. Again, there's an extensive list for your education of cults, black and white, so you can see the patterns. If you can see the patterns, you don't have to go by your preferences. You can see the patterns, so you can see what is it that you may not be aware of, that you may not get from me or somebody else. Hear from young people and people who were raised in cults, who left cults. Look at the patterns. Some of them are like ditto, like Father Yod. Some other folks and other black cults are totally connected to this one. So it's the manipulation factor that makes it so horrible and so toxic, and manipulating single mothers, young women, and conning successful women out of their resources and their money and their houses and their cars. it's disgusting. And also preying on women who are very vulnerable at different points in their life, whether they were sick or in relationships that were broke up. And there's so much similar stuff in terms of folks leaving their children too. Joseph Robinson, yes, has folks leaving their children. The patterns are so on point, it's absolutely astounding. Do your research and not get caught up in your emotions, because your emotions is part of what these manipulators do to suspend your logic. All right, be well.